Welcome to our journey through the architectural imagination of Frank Lloyd Wright, one of the most visionary architects of the 20th century. Today, we're diving into some of his most intriguing projects, those that, for various reasons, never moved past the drawing board. These unbuilt designs from Wright's early career provide a fascinating glimpse into his creative process and architectural philosophy. So, join us as we explore what might have been and uncover the stories behind these visionary designs that remain on paper. Let's discover the hidden chapters of architectural history with Frank Lloyd Wright. Charles E. Roberts House, Oak Park, Illinois. Let's take a closer look at the Parker House, a design that stands out due to its unique architectural elements. The house is characterized by its octagonal units, strategically placed at both the front and the rear, adding a distinctive geometric flair to the structure. The entrance, intriguingly, is situated off-center to the right, nestled under a subtly overhanging eave, which adds an element of asymmetry to the design. Library and Museum, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In the Frank Lloyd Wright archives, there's a fascinating ink drawing on art paper that catches the eye. It was created for a competition, designing a library and museum for Milwaukee, and it showcases Wright's versatility as it features his seal from Illinois, where he was a registered architect. This drawing stands out because it was done in the classical tradition, which is somewhat unusual for Wright. He was known for his reluctance to follow old-world styles, making this entry especially notable. The neoclassical trend was largely popularized by the success of the Chicago World's Fair in 1893, directed by Daniel Burnham. This context makes Wright's submission to the competition even more intriguing, as it reflects a departure from his usual aversion to such architectural styles. Monoma Boathouse for the Madison Improvement Association, Lake Monoma, Madison, Wisconsin. Let's explore the Monona Boathouse, a design by Frank Lloyd Wright that was never brought to life but remains fascinating in its conception. This boathouse was envisioned as a grand circular structure crowned with an imposing conical roof, making a bold architectural statement. Similar to the Mendota Boathouse, it featured an upper level designed as an arcade, which was open on the sides while being covered overhead, blending openness with protection. However, the Monona Boathouse was a design of far greater complexity compared to its Lake Mendota counterpart. Unfortunately, when the bids for construction came in, they were too high, and the financial constraints prevented the project from moving beyond the drawing board. This left us with only the plans and the vision of what could have been a stunning addition to the lakeside landscape. Bagley Communion Rail and Baptismal Font. In a fascinating intersection of art and commerce, Frederick Bagley, known for his marble importing business, once turned to the legendary Frank Lloyd Wright for a special commission. Bagley tasked Wright with designing a communion rail and a baptismal font. Interestingly, only a single photograph exists today that documents the completed baptismal font, a testament to the unique collaboration between Bagley and Wright. On the other hand, the communion rail, which never moved past the design phase, is preserved in history through two detailed drawings. These pieces showcase Wright's versatility in working with different materials and designs, reflecting his architectural brilliance even in smaller, more intimate projects. Apartment building for Giles Belknap, Austin, Illinois. Let's take a closer look at a uniquely designed building that combines both commercial and residential purposes. The first floor is laid out for commercial use, housing a drugstore, a meat market, and a grocery store, catering to the daily needs of the residents and the surrounding community. Above, the second and third floors are dedicated to residential living, featuring apartments that boast a kitchen, dining room, parlor, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom in each unit. Candlesticks in cast metal. Now we're examining a striking freehand drawing that depicts an innovative candle holder design. This isn't just any candle holder. It features a candle integrated within a vine-like shaft, with the flame elegantly visible at the top. What makes this design truly ingenious is the coiled spring mechanism inside the holder, which progressively pushes the candle upward as the wax melts away, ensuring a consistent flame height. This drawing is part of a series that includes various designs, some of which feature different types of reflectors to enhance the light, and an ornate dual candlestick holder that Wright referred to as an Oro-like holder. The decorative elements of these designs are particularly noteworthy as they reflect the influence of Louis Sullivan on Wright's work during his formative years. Sullivan's philosophy of form follows function is evident here, not just in the utility of the candle holder but also in its aesthetic appeal. Orangone House, LaGrange, Illinois. This single elevation, annotated by Wright himself, blends Sullivanesque elements, like the ornate second-story window arches, with details reminiscent of the William Winslow house, such as the cast stone around the entrance. Notably, this project also features a covered porch with a wooden grill on the second story, adding a distinctive charm. While still in its early planning stages, the drawing exhibits a notable elegance and was even featured in the Architectural Review in June 1900. This design clearly demonstrates Wright's evolving architectural style and his knack for integrating various influences into his work. C.A. McAfee House, Chicago, Illinois. In this architectural exploration, we see Frank Lloyd Wright pushing the boundaries of design with the house for C.A. McAfee. Unlike earlier projects, this house is set directly on a stylobate, eliminating basement windows and thus connecting the structure more intimately with the ground, without the need for traditional foundation planting. The dynamic layout begins with rotated square entry spaces leading to an octagonal billiard room library, creating a stimulating spatial journey before transitioning to the more traditional rectangular living and dining areas. 1985, Baldwin House, Oak Park, Illinois. Let's delve into the Baldwin House, Wright's largest residential project at that time. Here, Wright was still refining his architectural language, integrating squares, rectangles, and octagons into the design. Unusually for Wright, the entrance features a pointed arch, leading into a generous hall. To one side, there's a spacious octagonal parlor, and on the other, a large library marked by a semi-octagonal window bay at the front. A central chimney connects the main living spaces, serving fireplaces in the library, dining room, and Mr. Baldwin's study. The second floor is designed for privacy and comfort, accommodating 5 bedrooms, a nursery, and a guest room situated directly above the large parlor. Remarkably, there's only 1 bathroom. The topmost floor boasts a circular playroom located above the guest room, encircled by a band of windows that flood the space with light. Wolf Lake Amusement Park. Edward C. Waller, known for his collaborations with Frank Lloyd Wright on multi-unit apartment buildings, also commissioned Wright to create an ambitious amusement park design for Wolf Lake, located on the Illinois-Indiana state line. Wright's first proposal featured a striking large half-circle design nestled along the lake's shoreline, incorporating a variety of attractions including a bandstand, racetrack, viewing stand, casinos, and covered pavilions. Extending into the lake were 2 long arms with beaches and bathing pavilions, all connected by bridges over watercourts to a central circle and a spacious mall surrounded by the main concessions. The design was enhanced by tall towers adorned with lights and balloons, adding a celebratory flair. However, a second, more modest design was proposed, prioritizing economic and practical considerations. This alternative kept the circular form for the bandstand, but simplified the rest of the layout into a long rectangular structure without the elaborate water courts and towers. A topographical survey indicated that this simpler design was a better use of the site. Wright's approach here is an early demonstration of his sensitivity to land use, shaping his designs to fit the natural contours of the environment, a practice that predated the formal use of the term land planning by decades. 1896. Mrs. David Devon House, Chicago, Illinois. The Devon House features an exceptionally formal design, which is unusual for Frank Lloyd Wright's work, as he generally avoided layouts with major and minor axes, which he referred to as the Sphinx Plan. Wright addressed this challenge in his work for the Wasmuth portfolio, describing the house as a resolution of a difficult problem in planning. A house to be built on a fashionable Chicago drive, on a lot 50 feet wide extending from the drive to the lakeshore. The design sought an arrangement that would respect the thoroughfare while positioning the living rooms towards the lake, that is, at the rear of the building. The rear exterior entrance is designed to be concealed within the building itself, with the library and dining room facing both the drive and the lake, giving the exterior an urban character. It was intended to be constructed using brick, stone, and tile. Office building employing Luxfer prisms. The American Luxfer Prism Company, based in Chicago, Illinois, specialized in the manufacture of glass prisms, each measuring 4 inches by 4 inches. These prisms were designed to be installed in window openings to refract light deeper into the interiors of buildings. This technology was particularly useful in office buildings where natural light was available from only one direction. By directing light to areas that would otherwise remain dim, the prisms enhanced illumination efficiency across the room. The company claimed that their prisms could eliminate the need for light wells, thereby increasing usable floor space within buildings. To showcase the effectiveness of these prisms, the Luxfer Company organized a competition in 1898. Frank Lloyd Wright, who not only served on the jury but also took an active role in promoting the technology, created a conceptual design for an office building that incorporated Luxfer prism lighting. On the building's elevation, Wright noted, "Study for office building employing Luxfer prism lighting, 1894, 1895, highlighting his early involvement in exploring innovative lighting solutions in architectural design. Robert Perkins Apartment Building, Chicago, Illinois. Although no detailed plans of this project are available, the perspective view suggests that the building featured a central court, similar to the Francisco Terrace apartments. Access to this central court was likely through an ornamental arch, adding an aesthetic focal point to the design. The arrangement of the windows on the ground level implies that this floor may have been designated for commercial purposes, integrating both residential and commercial functionalities within the same structure. If realized, this design would have represented the largest of Frank Lloyd Wright's apartment projects, extending 6 stories from ground to roof. The design on the uppermost level included a striking architectural feature, a continuous band of windows that wrapped around the entire exterior of the building, maximizing natural light and offering expansive views. This element not only enhanced the aesthetic appeal, but also increased the practical value of the upper floors. Charles E. Roberts Summer House. Despite the damage to several drawings of this project, a well-preserved elevation provides insight into its distinctive design. It depicts a square structure strategically positioned on a steep hillside, which might border a lake or pond. This placement suggests that the design aimed to capitalize on the natural topography, possibly offering panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. The choice of a square structure indicates a focus on symmetry and balance, characteristics that could enhance both the building's aesthetic appeal and its functional integration with the challenging terrain. Such a design would not only stand out visually, but also optimize the use of space in a constrained or uneven environment. Housing project for Charles E. Roberts, Ridgeland, Oak Park, Illinois. The documents reveal Frank Lloyd Wright's involvement in a planned housing project for Charles E. Roberts, consisting of 4, potentially 5 houses on the same tract of land outlined in Drawing 9608.039. Located within a specific block in Ridgeland bordered by Superior Street, Chicago Avenue, Ogden Avenue, and Far Oaks Avenue, this project was recorded initially on January 15, 1896. Each of the 4 confirmed houses shares a layout with a central fireplace and rooms arranged around it, complemented by a side entry and porch. The designs feature 4 bedrooms and a bathroom on the second floor, with a basement for utilities accessible by interior and exterior stairways. While the first 4 houses show variations only in elevation, the 5th house stands out with its English half-timber style, resembling the Nathan Moore house but on a smaller scale, raising questions about its inclusion in the same project. The elevation of each house introduces variations, presenting different architectural expressions while maintaining the same underlying layout. The 5th house, however, diverges significantly in style and is described as being in the English half-timber style, similar to the Nathan Moore house but less ambitious in size and detail. This distinct difference in design makes it uncertain whether this 5th house was indeed part of the same project or a separate endeavor. This project illustrates Wright's architectural versatility and his ability to design multiple homes within a cohesive project while still allowing for individual variations. 1897, Chicago Screw Company Building, Chicago, Illinois. Another project designed by Frank Lloyd Wright for Charles E. Roberts, the president of the Chicago Screw Company, was a utilitarian screw factory. Planned to occupy an entire block, this design is characterized by windows that run completely around the exterior walls, maximizing natural light and ventilation. The factory's layout was an H-shaped plan, and it was structured to be 2 stories high. Interestingly, the drawings for this project were only discovered in the early 1960s during repairs at Wright's studio in Wisconsin, where they were found in the loft above the reception office. This discovery highlights a less-known aspect of Wright's work, focusing on industrial and utilitarian architecture. Block plan for Charles E. Roberts, Oak Park, Illinois. In a detailed block plan designed by Frank Lloyd Wright for Charles E. Roberts, 22 squares outline the layout of houses on a block bordered by Superior Street, Chicago Avenue, Ogden Avenue, and Fair Oaks Avenue. The design strategically reserves the center of the block for open green space, creating a community-focused environment. Notably, only the plans and elevations for the corner houses are available, suggesting they may have featured more distinctive or elaborate designs compared to the other houses in the plan. One unique architectural detail in the corner house is the kitchen and its porch, which protrude from the main square structure of the house at a 45-degree angle. This angular design element is cleverly echoed in various parts of the house's interior, creating a consistent and dynamic aesthetic. The documents indicate that this block of land was intended for the 4 Ridgeland houses planned in the previous year. However, the elevation of the corner house shown in this file indicates a design that is significantly different and more mature than those seen in the 1896 project, suggesting an evolution in Wright's architectural style and approach. 1898. Mozart Garden Restaurant remodeling for David Meyer, Chicago, Illinois. The 3 architectural drawings by Frank Lloyd Wright, dated June 1898, showcase a design heavily influenced by Louis Sullivan, evident both in the architectural style and ornamental details. The plan outlines an enclosed facility combining a dance hall and dining area under a sweeping long barrel vault, creating a grand and cohesive space. At one end of the structure, food service facilities are strategically placed, while the opposite end houses a stage and dressing rooms designed specifically for musicians and performers. Adding to the functionality and elegance of the design, the upper level features a balcony that runs along three sides of the building, providing access to private dining rooms. This layout not only maximizes space, but also enhances the building's entertainment capabilities, making it ideal for performances and social gatherings. Edward C. Waller House, River Forest, Illinois. The Waller House features a cruciform floor plan that merges formal design with a structured interior layout. The front elevation and room arrangement exude a strong sense of formality. At the heart of this plan lies the entrance hall and reception room, which serve as the central axis for movement throughout the house. Directly behind the hall, the design incorporates the kitchen and butler's pantry, a lavatory, and an additional entry located at the porch and porte cochere, which is situated behind the living room. The second-floor architecture includes windows arranged in arched groups of three, with the center grouping extending vertically, accentuated by a tower above a two-story nursery. This level also houses two large bedrooms, a bathroom, a nursery, a sewing room, and a servant's room. The house's symmetrical front facade is subtly disrupted by the inclusion of the porte cochere and an even larger front porch that provides access to the main entrance. Uniquely, the hip roof over the front porch pitches in all four directions, which is an atypical design choice, as one might normally expect the roof to extend outward from the main structure rather than sloping toward it. This architectural decision adds a distinctive element to the home's overall aesthetic, enhancing its visual interest and complexity. 1899. Cheltenham Beach Recreation Center, Chicago, Illinois. The Cheltenham Beach Resort, planned by Norman B. Ream and Edward C. Waller on the shores of Lake Michigan, showcased a more expansive and relaxed design approach compared to the structured layout of the Wolf Lake Amusement Park. This resort was designed with a series of long pavilions, some of which were detached while others were semi-detached. In one specific design alignment, these pavilions were connected to form one continuous line. These structures housed a variety of facilities including stables, a casino, restaurant, bathhouse, and boathouse, catering to the diverse needs of visitors. A significant feature of the resort was a large circular area designated for a music pavilion, creating a focal point for entertainment and social gatherings. Extending into Lake Michigan, the design included a pier garden and a pier itself, offering scenic views and a sense of extension into the natural landscape. The entrance to the resort was marked by a monumental arch, a motif that was echoed in the architecture of all the pavilions, providing a cohesive visual theme throughout the property. Interspersed among these architectural features, gardens added aesthetic value and a sense of tranquility to the resort. Detailed working drawings were prepared for the resort, including plans for the foundations, structural framing, arches, and roof trusses, ensuring that each element was meticulously crafted to achieve both beauty and functionality. This project reflected a harmonious blend of architecture and nature, designed to offer a serene and inviting environment for relaxation and recreation on the lakefront. Mrs. Robert Eckhart House, River Forest, Illinois. Mrs. Eckhart, the daughter of Edward C. Waller, is associated with a commission that might have originally come through her father, as the project is documented as a Waller project in a 1940 publication. The only existing visual records of this house are two perspective views. One of these views is a watercolor, while the other is a pencil drawing on tracing paper. The architectural features captured in these drawings include grouped windows, substantial chimney masses, gently sloping roofs, and projecting overhangs. These elements are characteristic of the early developmental phase of Frank Lloyd Wright's Prairie House style. This style is noted for its emphasis on horizontal lines, integration with the landscape, and a cohesive structure that blends interior and exterior spaces. The project, although only represented in preliminary artistic renderings, clearly aligns with the principles that define Wright's innovative prairie architecture, emphasizing an organic connection between the dwelling and its natural surroundings. 1900. Dwelling, Oakland, California. An intriguing architectural drawing discovered during the restoration of Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin studio in the early 1960s includes plans and an elevation for what appears to be a summer cottage. The design includes a basement with 2 bedrooms, suggesting the house was intended for a sloped site, allowing natural light into these lower rooms. The main floor is organized around a central fireplace, which separates the living and dining rooms and includes 2 additional bedrooms and a bathroom. The elevation shows the house constructed with board and batten, indicating a simple, rustic design likely intended as a seasonal retreat. This discovery highlights Wright's versatility in designing for different environments and purposes. Henry Wallace, Summer Cottage, Lake Delavan, Wisconsin. The initial sketch plan for the Wallace Cottage featured a square layout with 4 distinctive piers projecting at a 45-degree angle from each corner of the house. This design strategically integrated the living space with the outdoors, with the living room opening onto 2 covered porches and the dining room leading to an open porch. The first floor also included a kitchen, servants' room, pantry, and a kitchen porch, providing functional and comprehensive living amenities. On the second floor, the arrangement consisted of 4 bedrooms and a bathroom, supporting family or guest accommodations. However, in the final architectural drawings, there was a significant change in materials and aesthetics. The original dramatic stone piers were replaced with wooden constructions, now sheathed in shingles. These wooden piers rise from a base of rough boulders, adding a rustic and robust character to the house, blending more seamlessly with natural surroundings. This evolution from the initial sketches to the final design illustrates a thoughtful consideration of materials and visual impact in the architectural process. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Frank Lloyd Wright's unrealized visions from 1892 to 1900. These designs, although never constructed, continue to inspire and challenge our understanding of architecture and space. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with more fascinating architectural explorations. If you have thoughts about today's video or ideas for future content, please leave a comment below. Until next time, keep imagining the possibilities in the spaces around you. Farewell.